So now we're working from the right hand side of the engine, and made a little mark here on the top of the case, and there's actually a pop mark on the this advanced and retard back plate, so it goes back in that position. Now it says to take this screw off. I keep saying screw. Take this big nut off, and so these three things here in this whole assembly should come off. Well, that proved to be a bit of a struggle, because this big thing here is not what you turn by the look of it. It's this little bolt in the middle that comes out, then that comes out, and it's on a keyway that now appears to be loose inside there. So next thing to do is to take this backing plate off. That came off relatively easily. Just note that the wire runs round the back of this unit and goes through two clips. One just here in that corner and one here. They're both part of the bolts that hold the two halves together, I imagine, but they've got clips on them, little wire clips that you bend over. Good, so that's that. And now the next job is to remove this cover here, which is the gearbox cover. I'm going to give that a go now. Everything should be straightforward there. Any problems, and I will come back. And off she comes. Anticipating quite a lot of oil in here. Oops, no, not at all. Good. There we go. Inside the cover there's this cam mechanism like that on a spring, with this bolt, this nut and a bolt mechanism from the back. So I'm just going to whip that off now, because I want to get this case cleaned and polished. On the inside you've got this disc with a pin that fits in there quite simply. The next component is this unit with the 3 ball bearings, and that goes back through, so really there's no other way of putting that back together, because that all goes into the bearings. And then on the other side you just reassemble as I showed you as it came apart, so that's fairly straightforward. The manual says to take these 4 bolts out evenly as they're spring loaded, so that's the next thing that I'm going to do, and see what's underneath there. So that's all 4 of them now loose, no more tension. This is the clutch basket, and inside here there's a big nut which has got those tabs there. Now one of the tabs, when you've tightened the nut, will fall into the castellation to hold it in place. If you can see that, I'll take it off and then you'll be able to see it a bit better. But I don't have a clutch tool, and seeing as how they're about £20, I thought I'd make one, or try and make one, and I used this socket. So not being the type of person to give in, I made one out of a socket. This is just a socket with my grinder, but if you are going to do this, absolutely 100% must wear safety gloves and safety glasses using the grinder, because I'm not sure if these shatter, but anyway it's worked, and that's the main thing. And I've just basically ground the shape out from this old socket. So there's that castellated nut. As you can see, that's the castellations on the nut. There's then the tabs that you bend over into the appropriate place, and then finally this washer. Now that basket, according to the manual, should now just lift off. Oh, and it has done. Yep. And there's a gear and all the clutch components in there. I'll take that to bits later and see how that all fits. So the manual says to take off the dished washer, which is that one, and then the dowelled gear selector cam, which is that part. Looking at this cam, it's important to know that only one of these, that one's fixed, all the rest of these actually are loose. That one is solid, they're all loose, so that needs to be noted before we bag it up. Next it says to pull out the fork and the gear lever shaft, so that's that part and that part, and that just all retracts out. That's that part there. Good. Just a quick close-up of that so we can see how that all goes back together. There's a little spring here, and this spring goes on there, and the little spring is there. The next job is to remove this bolt here, which allows you to remove this Y-shaped lever here and the positive stop there, just here. So that should all come out as one unit. So that's the next bit. The next job is to undo this indexing lever. It says undo the spring. I'm not sure what it means by that, so I'm just going to take this bolt out, and I guess this spring will be part of this shaft on here. Okay, that part's come off. Indexing spring there. That's all come off with its spring, so they can go all together. That's those parts there. So that's bit there, which goes onto there. Hope that's always making sense. The next bit is to undo this neutral indexing lever here. So that's what I'm going to do next. It's worth noting that this one has got this double screw on it, and the spring hooks into that area there, as you can see on the back, and that goes straight into that part there. So far so good. Okay, so that's all done, and now it's saying remove the spring and withdraw the kickstart assembly. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, fair enough. That just came straight out.